Top stories tonight in Wine News. Malabang Lanao del Sur mayor denies involvement in indiscriminate firing incident during the filing of certificates of candidacy last month. The Armed Forces of the Philippines eyes to file perjury cases against 2 environmental activists who were allegedly abducted by the military. The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, officially announces the continuation of fuel subsidy distribution as the Commission on Elections grants exemption to the program from the election spending ban. And discover United States President Joe Biden's expression of solidarity with Ukraine following the call of President Volodymyr Zelenskyy for global unity against Russia and United Nations General Assembly. Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Wednesday, September 20, 2023. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harding Delgado. First in the news. Fishermen from Masinloc Island, Zambales are fervently urging the government to take action against Chinese ships hindering their ability to fish in Scarborough Shoal. Despite acknowledging the formidable challenge they face, these fishermen remain resolute in conveying to the government the persistent harassment inflicted by Chinese vessels whenever they venture into our waters. Alan Manansala will tell us why.
The excessive harassment by Chinese vessels at Scarborough Shoal presents a significant hurdle for these fishermen and their livelihoods. Some have been compelled to cease fishing in Scarborough due to the genuine fear for their lives stemming from the distressing encounters with these bullying Chinese ships. While Scarborough Shoal boasts ample fish resources, these fishermen opt for fishing closer to the shores of Zambales, prioritizing safety over potential gains from the area.
Ayaw nila yung siguro malaking kaagaw. Basta't nakikita na lang nila, ilan lang naman yung maliit na bangka. May ahon mo yung isang banyera, maghapon na yun. Isang banyera lang. Kung halimbawa, 15 kayo sa isang bangka, 15 banyera lang makuha ninyo sa isang araw. Pero yung mangisda, yung mga Chinese, ito nilada yun.
However, despite the danger, 26-years-old Raymar Eduarte continues to brave the perils and returns to Scarborough Shoal to fish. Raymar is no stranger to facing harassment from this imposing Chinese ship. Despite being blocked and hindered from fishing multiple times, their determination to fish in the West Philippine Sea remains unwavering.
Natatakot din po, kinakabahan. Siyempre po, pag nakita ka na't napansin ka nila, tsak nahahabol po talaga sila yun. Binabantayan po nila talaga yung kalburo. Masyado rin po silang maigpit.
For Raymar, it would bring immense relief if the government could finally expel the intrusive Chinese ships from our sovereign territory.
Kailangan po talaga kasi sa atin naman po talaga. Kasi ang takbo naman nila dyan, 4 na gabi sa atin talaga. Halos isang gabi lang. Paano magiging sa kanila yung yung kalburo na yan?
It's disconcerting to observe that in the past, over 30 fishermen from San Salvador could freely sustain their livelihoods and harvest fish at Scarborough. Presently, only about 20 of them mustered the courage to return and endure the torment inflicted upon them by a foreign Chinese vessel. Alan Manansala, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Malabang Town Mayor in Lanao del Sur Province denied his involvement over the recent incident of indiscriminate firing during the filing of certificates of candidacy in the area last month. Dante Amento tells us why.
Malabang Lanao del Sur Mayor Alinader Balindong appeared before the Commission on Elections or COMELEC Law Department this morning, September 20. Balindong said he submitted an official statement to the COMELEC denying the accusations by his political opponents that he was behind in the indiscriminate firing that occurred last August 31 while the Certificate of Candidacy or COC filing was ongoing. This is in response to the show cause order issued by the poll body.
We came here in the COMELEC office of the Law Department to answer the false accusation of my opponents in Malabang.
He also denied that the two suspects seen firing their high-powered firearms are his personnel.
According to the report of the Law Department, may complain doon na I prevent some of the aspiring barangay chairman from filing their certificate of candidacy, which I deny. I deny it.
Sir, so yung indiscriminate firing, you have nothing to do with it?
I have nothing to do with that. Bakit ko?
Kilala yung mga suspect.
Kilala ko. Pero bakit ko ipapahuli kung meron akong kaalaman? Oh. Kasi siyempre, sasabihin niya, ako ang nagputos sa kanya.
Attorney Emil Marañon, Mayor Balindong's legal counsel, said the suspects are the mayor's relative. But the incident may also be due to the existing rido or clan dispute in Malabang.
Actually, it's a very, very distant relative. That is why ang nangyari dito is that Mayor Dagar Balindong was also instrumental sa pagsuko. In fact, siya yung tumulong sa PNP to make sure po na ma-prosecute din at ma-punish. Because whether or not relative or hindi, basta nag-commit ka ng offense, dapat po i-punish under the law.
Balindong's camp will wait for the COMELEC's Law Department decision on the issue. Meanwhile, COMELEC Chairman George Erwin Garcia appreciated the local chief executive's effort to appear at their office. He also clarified that the show cause order issued to Mayor Balindong is part of the due process to air his side and not to judge him as guilty of a crime.
Nag-action tayo base sa nangyari nung filing ng candidacy at sinabi nga natin wala tayong palalagpasin ng mga ganyang klaseng pangyayari. The COMELEC will always dig deeper and the COMELEC will always act accordingly. Hindi pa pwede yung puro salita and therefore ito po ay isang pagkilala lang na at least yung in-issue nating show cause order ay tinutupad at sinusunod ng mga na-issuehan po nito.
Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Asian Development Bank has downgraded its growth projection for the Philippines this year amid high inflation and external headwinds. Nel Maribohok reports.
In a report released by the Asian Development Bank, the Philippine economic growth is expected to moderate this year due to inflation and global headwinds before picking up in 2024 on price pressures eased. The Asian Development Outlook, the multilateral lender, said the country's gross domestic product growth is projected to grow by 5.7% in 2023. This is lower than 6% growth rate projected by ADB in July 2023. ADB Country Director Pavit Ramachandran said the Philippines' growth story remains strong despite an expected moderation in 2023. He said public investment and private spending fueled by low unemployment rate, sustained increase in remittances from Filipinos overseas, and buoyant services including tourism will support growth. According to RCBC economist Michael Ricofort, high inflation could still slow down the economy.
Medyo babagal talaga yung ekonomiya dahil mataas yung interest rates. Tapos syempre, kakibat nun, yung sanhi talaga nun, dahil yung mga presyo ng bilihin na yung iba doon external, no? Beyond our control, like yung sa langis.
Despite this, Ricofort believes that the country may reach 5.5 to 6% GDP growth for 2023. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Philippine National Police Chief Police General Benjamin Acorda Jr. has issued an order for the relief of the Bacoor City Police Office Chief in Cavite following allegations that two police personnel engaged in extortion from transport operators. Acorda revealed that the monthly collection by the two policemen amounted to 1.5 million pesos.
In line with our one-strike policy, the Chief of Police will be affected. He will be relieved. I will be giving the order.
In addition to the police officers, the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group or CIDG operatives arrested a civilian accomplice who served as their collector. Accorda stated that the arrest of the suspects occurred during an entrapment operation in Barangay Molino yesterday. During the operation, law enforcement authorities recovered 3 firearms and various ammunitions from the suspects.
The police officers allegedly used threat to coerce drivers and transport leaders to providing these payments, which were supposedly intended for officials of the Bacoor Traffic Management Department and other individuals.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines plans to file perjury cases against 2 environmental activists who were allegedly abducted by the military. Meanwhile, Defense Chief Gilberto Teodoro Jr. questions the timing of the incident. Rosa Licos details why.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, eyes to file perjury cases against 2 environmental activists, namely Jed Tamano and Junila Castro. This was revealed during the plenary debates of the House of Representatives for the 2024 proposed budget of the Department of National Defense, or DND.
The AFP plans to file perjury cases or charges against the 2. There are witnesses who were there during the signing of said affidavit, not only of voluntary surrender as well as the signing of said affidavit. The PAO lawyers were there, the stepfather of one of the ladies were there, and they were even asked if they were coerced into signing by her stepfather, and she denied being coerced.
This was severely criticized by Kabataan Party List Representative Raul Manuel.
We are so shocked with that kind of response from the AFP. Ano po ang batayan na sampahan ng kaso ang 2 matapang na kababaihan na inabduct na nga nila at illegal na dinetain sa military camp?
It was on September 19 when the National Task Force to End Local Communist Armed Conflict, or NTF-LCAC, organized a news conference to present the 2 environmental activists and publicly say that they voluntarily surrendered to the military. However, surprisingly, the 2 claimed they had been abducted by the military troops in Bataan province and were threatened. The AFP has insisted there is no abduction. Meanwhile, Defense Secretary Gibo Chodoro believes there are people behind this incident. He also questions the timing of this happening.
Bakit tiniming kahapon? Bakit budget hearing namin ngayon? Bakit gagawin yun pagbaliktad na dramatiko doon sa press conference? Obvious naman to sa akin
Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
With the rapid growth of technology, the increasing and evolving methods employed by cyber attackers are making more people susceptible to various scams. Telecommunication or telco companies, the Philippine National Police or PNP Anti-Cybercrime Unit, and Scam Watch Philippines provide crucial tips and reminders on how to avoid falling victim to scams.
With, of course, the guidance of the PNP chief, na talagang ibababa, magkakameron ng 2 at least cybercrime desks sa bawat police stations or local stations. Meaning to say, pagdating sa mga police stations, meron talagang assigned who would be catering to cyber-related cases.
When it comes to bank transactions, it is imperative to avoid using public Wi-Fi due to its vulnerability to cyber attacks.
Ang sinasabi ko sa mga sa community, huwag kayong pumunik sa mga public Wi-Fi. As in what? Kasi mayroong mga Wi-Fi na kung ma-compromise, lalagyan ng threat actor ng malware. Pag connect mo doon, automatic na download sa makina mo.
According to Scam Watch Philippines, just remember these 4 things to avoid scam. Do not give easily, snub, doubt, and report.
Ang Scam Watch Pilipinas, merong 4 na principles na gusto sundan. Una, magdamot. So kung sa tunay na buhay, may hihingi sa'yo ng 1,000, hindi mo naman bibigyan yan eh. Pag nagpunta yan sa online, pag may nanghingi sa'yo na hindi mo naman kakilala o kahit kakilala mo, i-verify mo muna yan kung sila ba talaga yun. Kaya wag na wag magbibigay kagad.
If you unfortunately become a victim of a scam, it's crucial to take a screenshot, secure the transaction receipt, and promptly report the incident to the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT hotline at 1326.
And for the news abroad, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has delivered a compelling address at the United Nations General Assembly, urging world leaders to unite against Russia's ongoing aggression in the country. Joselito Liquido will tell us why live. Yes, Joselito, good evening.
Good evening, LC. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has addressed the United Nations General Assembly in New York, urging global unity against Russia's ongoing aggression in his country. Zelenskyy highlighted Russia's efforts to weaponize food and energy and emphasized the need for collective action to counter this threat. He further condemned Moscow's attempt to use food shortages on the global market as leverage for territorial recognition and accused Russia of kidnapping Ukrainian children, and stated that Kiev is working on organizing a global peace summit. Several world leaders expressed their support for Ukraine during the UN General Debate. United States President Joe Biden pledged solidarity with Ukraine, emphasizing that allowing Ukraine to be divided would threaten the independence of all nations. Zelensky's speech aimed to garner international support, but some nations remained neutral on the Ukraine issue. Zelenskyy is expected to participate in a UN Security Council meeting on Ukraine and visit Washington, D.C. to meet with President Biden and seek further aid for Ukraine. North Atlantic Treaty Organization Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg emphasized Ukraine's urgent need for air defenses, ammunition, and spare parts, characterizing the conflict as a war of attrition. He stressed the importance of military support to achieve a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Joselito Liquido, reporting live from Malaysia. Muslim leaders in Canada are urging the Canadian government to do more to protect their communities against potential threats as the investigation of the killing of a prominent Sikh leader continues. And Gonzales details why live. Yes, Anne, good evening.
The killing of Sikh community leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar outside a temple in British Columbia might have shocked many Canadians, but it was not a surprise to Sikh community. World Sikh Organization of Canada board member Mukhbir Singh told reporters on Tuesday, September 19, that India has long targeted Canadian Sikhs with espionage and disinformation. Other threats also involve demanding the religious group to change the pattern of their living to assure their safety. Head of the National Council of Canadian Muslims, Stephen Brown, stands with the Sikh community and called the killing of its prominent leader an unprecedented attack against Canadian sovereignty.
This is an unprecedented attack against Canadian sovereignty. Full stop. We're all in this together. Because when a Canadian is attacked, when he or she has the audacity to speak about human rights and justice, all of us are at risk.
The two leaders are demanding the Canadian government to do more to put a stop to the continuous threat that minority groups in Canada are facing. The Indian government was allegedly behind the attack, as Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau told the Parliament that Canada was investigating credible allegations of a potential link between Nijjar's killing and Indian government agents. No evidence has been disclosed yet to back up the claims. India, however, denied the allegations and accused Canada of harboring Sikh terrorists and extremists. Meanwhile, Trudeau doubled down on his decision to make the probe over Nijjar's killing public. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Anne Gonzales, for that live report. We'll share more global stories with you later, but for now, back to you, Harleen.
Thank you, Elsie. For those watching our live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook. A Senate panel strongly recommends that it is time for the Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGOs to exit the country. This report will tell us why.
The Senate Committee on Ways and Means has garnered support to formally recommend to remove and prohibit Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGOs in the country. This comes 6 months after its chairperson, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, first released the committee report, but only got enough signatures just now. 10 out of 18 members of the committee signed the report, with some expressing their intent to join the debates once the measure reaches the plenary. The panel recommends to urge the executive department to work on the gradual phase-out of POGOs within 3 months. This is to allow POGO companies to undergo process for closure of business. But Gatchalian says he will push for the immediate ban of POGOs. He has yet to talk again to President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. regarding the report, but he believes the president is concerned in the effects of POGOs to the country's peace and security.
Tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung krimen. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung trafficking, yung scamming. No? Ito yung bagong trend na sa briefing namin sa mga executive session, isa sa mga nasagap ko, no? Nagiging front ang mga POGO ng mga scams. So yung scam na nakikita natin, ating POGO, iisa lang.
However, Senator Amy Marcos, who is a member of the committee, did not sign the report. She says she has yet to read the latest version of the report and wants to study it first. But the presidential sister admits she has concerns on banning POGOs, stressing the need to ensure the prosecution of those behind its operations.
Ang kinatatakutan ko malulusutan lang kasi alam naman natin mga malalaking tao ang nasa likod ng POGO, hindi lamang malalaking tao sa sindikato kundi sa ating pamahalaan. Dahil dito, importante na talagang bigyan ng ngipin at kapangyarihan ang sino mang huhuli ng POGO at baka saan lang mauwi yan.
Gatchalian hopes to report the committee recommendations to the plenary next week before Congress goes into session break. Harleen Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Grain Retailers Confederation of the Philippines, or GRECON, has confirmed a reduction in the price of rice by 3 pesos per kilogram. This decrease comes 2 weeks after the implementation of the price cap on rice. GRECON mentioned that the ongoing harvest season has commenced, which may lead to further reductions in rice prices during its peak. The group is now urging the government to lift the price cap to prevent additional losses for retailers.
Sa nakikita namin, positive siya kasi dahil kung hindi ito nalagyan ng EO39, marahil talaga sumipa ng todo yung presyo. So, siyempre, aantayin natin yung market forces kagaya ng harvest time para bumaba. Pero siyempre, ang downside lang nito, na bigla yung mga retailers, biglang nailagay doon sa price cap.
In a related development, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, or DSWD, reported that out of the 7,000 targeted beneficiaries, 4,000 retailers have already availed the 15,000 peso subsidy. The government aims to complete the distribution by the end of the month. The distribution of fuel subsidies will persist as the Commission on Elections grants exemption to the program from the election spending ban. JP Nunez will tell us why.
The Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, has officially announced the continuation of fuel subsidy distribution. This decision comes after the Land Bank of the Philippines temporarily suspended the distribution on September 15, just 2 days after the fuel subsidy fund was downloaded. According to LTFRB Executive Director Robert Peig, during the initial 2 days of distribution, only 63,000 beneficiaries received the fuel subsidy.
Siyempre, nung September 12 po, nung na-download, ang priority po kasi namin kaagad, mahabol po kahit 2 araw, makapag-disburse man lang po tayo. In fact, we were able to obligate 769 million. Yun nga lang po, hindi na po nahabol, hindi na po na-credit dahil mate-technical na po tayo kaagad.
LTFRB explained that there was a delay in submitting the request letter to COMELEC for spending ban exemption, as the fund was downloaded after the deadline for submission for exemption.
In fact, September 1 nga po yung last day ng filing. No? Pero September 1, so wala pa naman pong hihingin dahil wala pa po yung budget. Kaya po may nagkaroon po ng konting delay.
Under COMELEC Resolution number 10944, it is prohibited to disburse or spend public funds for social services and development during the election period. Recently, COMELEC granted the Department of Transportation's request to exempt the fuel subsidy program from the spending ban. This exemption enables the distribution to severely affected public utility vehicle or PUV drivers and operators amidst the continuous oil price hikes. This exemption was previously assured by COMELEC Chairman Attorney George Erwin Garcia.
Ang commitment natin, ilalabas natin ngayong araw na ito ang exemption na yan. Hindi natin patatagalin sapagkat kailangan niya ng ating mga kababayan na nagmamaneho ng pampublikong sasakyan. Hindi po natin yan, hindi pa tayo magiging burden sa kanila. So isang araw lang ilalabas po natin.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Technical Education and Skills Development Authority, or TESDA, in collaboration with the Department of Information and Communications Technology, or DICT, recently hosted intensive training programs focusing on bolstering cybersecurity awareness and competence regarding the Data Privacy Act. Over 445 TESDA personnel from both central and regional offices actively participated in this hybrid seminar workshop. Under the guidance of information system analysts and information technology officers from DICT's incident response team, various pivotal topics were discussed, emphasizing cybersecurity awareness, cyber hygiene, and the fundamentals of the Data Privacy Act. TESDA Secretary and Director General Suharto Mangudadatu highlighted the increasing threats of cybersecurity and data breaches affecting businesses, governments, and individuals. He stressed the significance of capacitating the agency's personnel to cultivate cyber resilience. This proactive initiative by TESDA in cybersecurity and data privacy equips organizations and individuals with essential knowledge and skills to safeguard sensitive data and digital assets in today's interconnected world.
And in other global news, the President of the United States is urging the United Nations to approve a security support mission to Haiti. Ryuji Sasaki will tell us why live. Yes, Ryuji, good evening.
Good evening, Elsie. United Nations President Joe Biden is calling for the authorization of an international mission to Haiti as the Caribbean nation continues to face a surging and deadly gang violence. Mr. Biden was the only top leader from the 5 Security Council permanent members to attend the United Nations or UN General Assembly on Tuesday, September 19.
On Haiti, the Caribbean community is facilitating the dialogue among Haitian society. I thank President Ruto of Kenya, I thank him for his willingness to serve as the lead nation of a UN-backed security support mission. I call on the Security Council to authorize this mission now. The people of Haiti cannot wait much longer.
Gang violence has affected the daily lives of millions of Haitians, with 80% of the capital Port-au-Prince being controlled by gangs, committing crimes like kidnappings, carjackings, rape, and armed theft. Haiti's de facto leader Ariel Henry called on the international community October last year to help establish a specialized armed force, but deployment has been stalled as no country had agreed to lead the mission. But in July, Kenya stated that if the mission gets approved by the UN Security Council, it was willing to lead a multinational force to help train Haitian police to restore normalcy. Negotiations with the Security Council has begun earlier this month, but it remains unclear when a resolution would be made. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Ryuji Sasaki, reporting live from Japan. So far, the Rural Fire Service has upgraded or replaced just 400 of its 2,294 fire trucks that do not meet standards, more than 3 years after an inquiry found the trucks lacked safety features to protect workers during a burn-over. Amidst what is projected to be the most dangerous fire season since 2019 to 20, the state is experiencing a fire season of unprecedented danger. Burn-over curtains and halo self-protection sprays should be retrofitted on all trucks used by the service pre-2008, as recommended by the NSW Bushfire Inquiry in 2020, drops down to protect the crew inside the cabin from the radiant heat of a bushfire. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening.
The competition in the UNTV Volleyball League is heating up as we hit the midpoint of the second round of eliminations. The winless DFA emissaries will attempt to shatter the undefeated and top-ranking AFP Lady Gunners in the first game set for 1 p.m. tomorrow at Paco Arena in Manila. Following this, the clash between the Ombudsman Graft Busters and Senate Lady Defenders will take place at 3 o'clock p.m. Senate is currently holding the second spot in the standings with 5 wins and 2 losses. Meanwhile, Ombudsman is positioned at 5th place and needs to secure victories in remaining matches to advance to the semifinals. Judiciary justice servers are also in a must-win situation in their upcoming matches. The judiciary will face off against the top 3 ranked PNP Lady Patrollers, boasting a record of 5 wins and 2 losses. Catch the triple header action of the UNTV Volleyball League live on UNTV Sports, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. Stay tuned for more exciting updates. In other news, Gilas Pilipinas head coach Tim Cohn has officially announced the addition of 5 players to the Philippine team for the upcoming Asian Games. The new additions to the roster are Chris Ross, Kevin Alas, Arvin Tolentino, Marshall Lassiter, and CJ Perez. This development comes after the Hangzhou Asian Games Organizing Committee rejected Gilas Pilipinas' request to include Calvin Abueva, Terrence Romeo, Jason Perkins, Mo Tautua, and Roger Pogoy in the 12-man basketball roster. The Asian Games will take place in Hangzhou, China from September 28 to October 3. Stay tuned for more updates as we gear up for an exciting basketball showdown. Our kasambahay. As the world faces these trying times amid the various challenges and uncertainties, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
And before we close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of Leviticus, chapter 20, verses 7 to 8, it says, "Sanctify yourselves therefore, and be ye holy, For I am the Lord your God, and ye shall keep my statutes, and do them. I am the Lord which sanctify you. And those are the reasons behind the news, September 20, 2023. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. Because we need to know. We will always ask why. I am Hardin Delgado. We serve the people. We give glory to God.